Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern, SEC Network. Purdue goes to Rupp Arena. They take on the Kentucky Wildcats. Now, I believe the Cats will continue to be without Jalen Lowe, Jaden Quaintance as well. And then Otega Owe was limited in their blue and white scrimmage, so will be interesting to see how much he plays. On the other hand, with Purdue, I was texting Joe Jackson, Boilers in the stands, and he told me that apparently TKR had like a minor shoulder bruise in their inter-squad scrimmage. So hopefully TKR is back to full strength. It doesn't seem like Purdue is all that concerned about it, but I am curious to see how that affects minute rotations here. But Dion, we might be burying the lead even with surveying the injuries here. The main storyline is your guy Omer plays on Friday.
First off, I want to get ahead of a few things. Didn't really like that you're just shouting out people you text. Um, so I want to get ahead of something. Kentucky fans, I didn't text anybody this, but I want y'all to let me know if I'm wrong or not. Always been limited for like a month, I want to say. And I don't know if that's true or not, but I want to have something in my back pocket too, just because I just texted somebody and like TK is a little injured. Didn't like that. Feel like you're up 20 on me early in this video. Early in this video. But yeah, it's a simple night. The debut. Omer Meyer. Uh, we're here now. No more talking. No more Jakari Harris, Antoine West, CJ Cox, Omer Meyer. Who's the best? No. Everything's gonna be on film. Everything's on the court. It's showtime. And I think me and my guy are ready. Most importantly, my big three is ready. I don't care who is limited. My big three is ready to go. My center, Oscar Clough's locked in. Jakari seems like he's better than ever. This is the start of an era. 3 units. We're here.
My favorite part about this, Dion, is you have been on record saying like they shouldn't do these exhibitions. They
Yeah.
should what what did you say when you were with Hammer about just do home and homes, do your exhibitions against like the low majors and
Yeah.
the buy games and everything. And yet all of a sudden when it is your 3 units who we're talking about, it's like becomes the most pro exhibition guy on the podcast.
Oh, and I'm locked in on this one too, because like Kentucky fans, don't worry, it's still L's down. Because I'm still with Kentucky in that Louisville game. I don't care if Jelon Lowe isn't playing. So this is a big day for me.
So this is almost like whatever happens in this game, Dion, you can't lose.
Yes.
You can ride the fence. You can take either side. Well, let's talk about the. Go ahead.
That's the beauty of exhibitions. Like you could just make up stuff. Like, oh, we told them our plays. We weren't actually trying. Like, that's the beauty of exhibitions.
That is some of the fun with it. Like even 2 nights ago when Duke and UCF were playing in an exhibition, I think it was like 48-47, Duke up one at halftime, and I was like, this is why I love exhibitions because it's making me think Duke's not very good. And then of course Cam Boozer woke up and they ran away with it in the second half. Anyway, let's get to the task at hand and break down this game a little bit. Is there any particular matchup you're looking forward to beyond just seeing Omer in action or beyond seeing how Kentucky looks without Jaden Quaintance? How that to me is one of the things I'm most fascinated to see. How do they defend without their player who projects as the anchor in the middle, especially going against the best point guard in the country, someone who is,
Wow.
used to torching drop coverage and
Best player in the country.
best player in the country, best
Thank
player
you.
in the country.
Let's
I
not be.
didn't
Yeah,
mean to slight Braden with that. We love Braden, best player in the country. But
best player in the country.
what'd you say?
I just want to make sure we're best player in the country.
Yeah, we're
We
we're
don't want to
locked
win. We don't
we're
want to
locked
box him in.
we're locked in on that. But what are you looking for out of this matchup?
I think as a whole, it's a game I'm interested in rotations wise more than matchups. Can from a Kentucky perspective, I don't believe their three best players are going to play. Jelon Lowe, I don't believe always going to play personally. I mean, from what your text exchange with Polachek, it does sound like he is. But even if he does play, if he was limited in a scrimmage, I don't know how much different it'll be. Which is why I lean towards like maybe like the morning of they're just like, like maybe he won't type of thing. I don't know.
Mhm.
And obviously JQ isn't playing. So in some capacity, their three best players are at least like limited and or not playing. So Big Jelly, as I like to call him, like can't wait to watch him hoop. I love the idea, like yo, he gets in trouble for dribbling in practice. That's so special. Like you know how good of a shooter you have to be. Where Pope's like, why did you dribble the basketball? Just shoot it, dude. Like run the stairs again, run the stairs. So I'm so excited to watch Big Jelly hoop. I think Purdue's rotations are going to be insanely interesting. I know the focus of the scrimmage was Omer and Braden didn't play together. And if they were during the real games, we would have got to look at maybe. Maybe. I think we can all safely say like Omer's not going to start. Michael Jordan head nod. Yeah. I don't agree. But like it is what it is. Pay, I'm rocking with you. It is what it is. But like how much will they play together,
Hmm.
right? Like, is it a situation where Jakari starts and ends games, but like the beef of the game, maybe it's the Omer Braden show, or is
Hmm.
it a situation where they don't play together at all?
Hmm.
Do we get a Clough Jacobson double big lineup? What do we do when TK goes to the bench? How much does Fletch play with the bench, or is it Braden playing with the bench? Like I said, there's so many different avenues Purdue can go rotation wise, and we kind of get our first glimpse at it. And then same with Kentucky. It's like, okay, so who's the starting point guard now that Jelon's out? Pope said Owe thinks it's him. I love that. Love that. It's not Owe, but I love the fact that he thinks it's him. Because by the way, I also think it's me. Like if Mark Pope called me, like I do believe I'm the starting point guard for this team. Do we get Aberdeen, Jasper Johnson lineups? Do we just get Aberdeen and then we put um, maybe Trent Noah goes into the starting lineup for some more shooting? Who's
Hmm.
going to start instead of JQ? Is it Brandon Garrison at the five or is it Malachi Moreno? And I think depending on the answer to that, you kind of get your glimpse into where JQ's going to play. Because,
Hmm.
right, if it's Brandon Garrison, I think it's a higher possibility JQ just plays the five. If it's Malachi Moreno, JQ's probably going to play the four. So I think you kind of get a glimpse into what everybody's plan is when it's all said and done for the very first time. And these two teams are both so deep, so both so talented. There's probably no teams in the country with like more interesting questions. Because I don't want to say they're question marks, but it's just more so
Hmm.
you have a multiple choice answer. Each answer is correct. What answer are you going to choose?
I think you hit on a lot of great points, Dion. Even looking at the rotations here, so we can. I want to lean a little bit more into what you're talking about with Purdue because this is a team preseason number one, retain a ton of great pieces. I mean, you have your two All-Americans with Braden and TK. You got Fletch coming back, who's a senior, who's been in the program, made a million threes throughout his career. Of course, you got the two sophomores who got their feet under them last year in Harris and Cox. You also got Jacobson back after injury. However, even with all that retention, you got two fascinating new pieces with Oscar Clough and Omer Meyer. I'm with you to where I really want to see if they go with a double point guard lineup with Meyer and Braden. I know we've sort of belabored that point where some Meyer's best strengths might be his ability to run an offense. His passing, I think, is sublime. And is there a way that you can make that work and optimize it to where it doesn't feel clunky and it's not like my turn, your turn with who's running the offense? To me, I think Paint's a good enough coach to where and even Braden has a versatile enough skill set where like there shouldn't be an issue at all. Even to tie it back to my team, it reminds me a little bit of when Marcus Page's senior year at Carolina, you had, I believe it was a sophomore Joel Berry who was coming into his own after an injury riddled freshman year. For large stretches of that season, when Marcus was a senior, he deferred to Joel and let him run point. And Marcus became such a good off ball player and was a great shooter that it didn't matter. I think there's a world where Omer and Braden, maybe we see some glimpses of it tonight. I'm with you to where, all the buzz right now of Omer maybe being a year away, that could change really quickly. That could change by late December, early January. And we're seeing more of that lineups where maybe it lowers Braden's assist total a little bit, but I think you could see his catch and shoot numbers going up. He could make more three. Like he's such a good shooter and such a versatile offensive player that if you move him off ball for large stretches of the game to see what you have in Omer, who can be this electrifying playmaker, I see that working. I'm very fascinated to see if we get some glimpses of that tonight. Then in the front court with Clough and Jacobson, I'm with you to where that can that two big lineup work when TK's on the bench with Clough. Like, are you a Clough guy?
Oh yeah.
I'm a massive Clough fan.
Yeah.
I feel like he is flying so under the radar right now because he's not 7'4" like Jacobson, and I mean, he's not All American like his two teammates, and he didn't torch international competition in the FIBA U19 World Cup. Like he's getting no buzz, but this dude is a freaking problem in the post. Like he has tremendous footwork, great touch around the basket, so good at passing out of doubles, and they're shooting up and down this roster to where I'm like, dude, he could be a monster in this offense. And especially going up against a Kentucky front line that is missing their best defender, like I wouldn't be surprised to see if Oscar puts up like 17 or 18 points in this game just to remind people out there that, like, yo, we're more than just Braden and TKR.
Dion, you okay? You look a little sweaty.
So every August, September, my air conditioning breaks, and there's just nothing I can do about it.
Dude, that's tough. Out in California too? Like, I mean, what is it, like 80 degrees still there today?
Today's gonna be like 85, 90, but like peak summer, it gets like 110. My AC just doesn't ever hold up.
I mean, it sounds like it's a bummer that you can't take advantage of Duncan Mechanical Solutions because Duncan Mechanical Solutions is an HVAC company based in Angola, servicing the tri-state area, bringing commercial quality to the residential world with excellent customer service. You heard us talk about Duncan Mechanical last summer. If you need heating or air conditioning, kitchen or bath remodeling, or all of the above, Duncan Mechanical is the place to go in the Midwest. Go to DuncanMechanicalSolutions.com to take advantage and make sure you don't wind up like Dion.
I don't like that. I love Oscar Clough. I don't want Oscar Clough scoring 18 points though. Too
Nine,
many
10 points.
too many other scoring options on this team. Like
I,
Oscar Clough's got to go get you 18. That means like somebody else didn't do something. But I love Oscar Clough for what he did to Jacobson in that scrimmage, which is bully him. He is a bully's bully. And it's like he's gonna set a hard screen, he's gonna lower his shoulder into you, he's gonna box you out. Everything he does looks painful. And I feel like I just think that they not a lot of bigs can handle that in this country, especially Brandon Garrison. Respectfully,
Mhm.
respectfully, like it's interesting to me. We have all these like question marks, and I'm still on Kentucky. I'm still on Kentucky, but we have a lot of question marks about the Louisville front court. And the longer time goes with this Kentucky front court, I'm like, ooh, ooh, like, are we sure?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And even what you're getting at, like, do you see Brandon Garrison or Moreno get the nod at the start at the five? I think it'll be Garrison. I think I think Pope will roll with the veteran. I also just think, I know Moreno has some like buzz among draft Twitter. I don't know if I see it with him. I think he moves really well. I think he's fluid. I think he has some passing chops, but he's a guy who's like a year away. I think he needs to bulk up and learn to deal with physicality better. And you just mentioned like Daniel Jacobson, who's been in the program, who Purdue fans love, who Painter seemingly loves. He had a tough time with Clough. Like if Oscar Clough sees Malachi Moreno in front of him, like
Yeah.
Clough might be thinking that's food, mate.
For sure, food. I think the thing that I struggle with, and maybe other college basketball fans do too, separating like because you mentioned he has buzz with the draft stuff. I have such a hard time separating like, yo, that's a draft guy versus like that's a college guy sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Because I see why Moreno has draft buzz. I
Mm-hmm.
could see why Jacobson has draft buzz, by the way. 7'4", block shots, can shoot a little bit. Yeah, like if he shows anything, like he's probably a first round pick based off those three things alone, you know?
Right, right.
But I mean, it's kind of like what we were discussing with Sinan Juan, like all summer, where it's like
Mm-hmm.
if he shows anything, like that guy's definitely getting drafted just because of his size. And
Right.
but that doesn't mean they're like, it's like you said, like he has all that draft buzz, but Garrison's the guy. And I
Mm-hmm.
struggle to do what you just did, where it's like he has that draft buzz, but Garrison's the guy. Because in my head, it's like, okay, the draft people love Moreno. Brandon Garrison's coaches don't even like Brandon Garrison.
Brandon Garrison's fans don't like Brandon Garrison. Like I feel bad for Brandon. I feel bad for Brandon. He's a former McDonald's All-American at Kentucky and can't get any love from anybody.
It's tough, but yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be a fun game. I think it's maybe I probably live in a little bit different of a Twitter universe than you do at this point, especially because I've started to follow a lot of Purdue fans. Um, I think I think Clough's in a really good spot with the hype he's getting. I'll be honest.
Clough's in a good
Jacobson,
spot with what?
the hype that he's getting, at
Mm-hmm.
least amongst the Purdue fan base, Jacobson's the one that I think starting to like fall, not like get slept on, but it's a little bit more like I feel like it's a four starters for sure. Who's going to be the fifth guy? And a
Right.
few weeks ago, it was three starters for sure. Who are going to be the two other guys? I think Clough's like handily taking that center spot.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm with you on that. And yeah, maybe I just am not, I don't have enough Purdue fans in my orbit to see how they view Oscar Clough. Sometimes I feel like maybe it's just talking to Greg and Carter or doing our top 100 player rankings. I think I was the high guy on Clough. I talked about him yesterday with J-Man. Where did he come in our rankings? Give me one second. Came in 76 in our top 100 rankings. I had him in the top 70. I was the only one. Greg had him 98th. Believe J Man had him 80th and Hammer had him 75th. So that was just to me where I'm like, man, this feels like such a good system fit, like a perfect marriage between player and coach, to where I'm anticipating a big year. And yet, like you're saying, if Oscar Clough is scoring 16 to 18 points per game, that means someone else is disappointing. And so it's like there's a cap on how good his numbers can be, but I think he will be very impactful for this team.
Yeah, it's a two things can be true situation.
Hmm, hmm.
It's the perfect fit. It's seamless. It's why we love Purdue so much, but also like there's so much talent. Oscar Clough's probably only gonna get like 8 to 12 points a game.
Right, right. There's one more storyline I wanted to talk about with this game. We've leaned in some to Kentucky's backcourt, who's starting at the one. I'm actually very interested to see what they do defensively against Braden because theoretically it's like, okay, Ortega is our best defender. You stick him on Braden, cut off the head of the snake. Yet I think Owe is like best served as more of an off-ball defender. I think that's where you see his instincts, where he's able to get pick sixes, turn defense into offense. He's good on ball, but it was like last year when you had Lamont Butler, who was guarding the best guards, it allowed Owe to be a little more flexible with where you lined him up. This year, I would still guess that they're gonna have Owe guarding Braden for most of the game, and maybe with Mo Diabate. Like if Owe again, I get the question comes up like how much is Owe going to play? Is he playing 15 minutes or fewer in this game? Or are you going to see if you can get 20, 25 out of him? And is it going to be on Braden the whole time? Or are you going to conserve his energy, try to keep him healthy and try to put him on a wing or something? And I mean, maybe you stick Mo Diabate at the point of attack. Like, I don't know how well that works, but he at least has the defensive chops and the instincts to hang. I'm not really sure what Aberdeen's defense is going to look like. Colin Chandler obviously has good size, but I think that'll be fascinating to see. Maybe that'll give us some insight just even to how good this Kentucky defense can be. You know, we saw them make huge strides down the stretch of last season, but I think especially without JQ for the start of the year and not knowing, like not having that lockdown point of attack defender in Lamont Butler, it makes me really fascinated to see how Pope schemes this.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's a interesting Otega Owe conversation because I agree with what you just said, and I always have. But I've also always said I think he's the best defender in the country on the perimeter. And the
Mhm.
reason I think that is I feel like the biggest issue Owe had, and he still has it. This is why, like I said, it's an interesting conversation. They asked him to do so much offensively. That's not
Mhm.
his game,
Right.
in my opinion, or not like his end game, at least. Because clearly he can do it. He's an All-American in college, you know what I mean? But like he's back. He wanted to go to the NBA. This is a guy who exhausted every opportunity to go to the NBA during the process, right? Like that was his goal. It wasn't going to happen, so he came out to Kentucky, and I believe he made the right choice.
Mhm.
To me, he's Lou Dort, and you stick him in the corner. He shoots threes. He drives to the basket once or twice, but he presses your best player for 94 feet, and that could be a power forward because Lou Dort can guard, your best big. Maybe
Mhm.
not Jokic or Wemby, but like he
Yeah.
he can guard your best big, but he can also pick your point guard up 94 feet.
Mhm.
And I think that's Osega Owe personally. Like that's his end game. And if he wants to get to the NBA, I think that's why he did it. That's what they're waiting to see from him. But if he's going to have the offensive responsibility he had last year, I think you're absolutely correct. I think he's best served as an off-ball defender. And I think the reason he's best served as an off-ball defender is just energy. It is so hard to carry the load offensively and be the best defender on the other side of the court. We don't see professionals do that very often.
Mhm.
If we're being completely honest, Kevin Durant might be one of the best defenders in the league. We don't know that because he has to be the best offensive player to ever play the game as well.
I
um,
mean, to that point, even you saw that firsthand, his first title with the Warriors when he became
Right.
this otherworldly rim protector. Like
Right.
that was his performance in the finals. That you're not to get a sidetrack. We need to wrap this. Probably need to wrap this one up. But yeah, I think you're making great points about just that balance of where do you invest your energy.
Braun in Miami, right? Literal defensive player of the year candidate. And then in Cleveland, it's like I can't do all that because I
Yeah,
have to do
carry
this on the
everything.
other end.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think again, there probably will be some vanilla elements to this exhibition. Doesn't mean we won't be locked in, but I just hope we get some clarity about rotations, about defensive questions, even about what certain players look like with each other. Dion, do you want to close this out with a score prediction?
105-98 Purdue.
I like the thought of this getting into the 100s. Let me say it gets in the 100s on both sides. I'll go with 106, 103 with Purdue taking the edge.